A stroke is a sudden cut-off of blood supply to any part of the brain. Through it could be a vessel in your blood, in your brain that has been burst, or there's a clot. So as such, you end up getting neurological deficits. When I say neurological deficits, I mean some people may be unable to move their hand, walk, talk, depending on the part of the brain which has been affected. And so nowadays we tend to see quite a number of those because there are certain risk factors that actually increase your tendency of getting a stroke. The fact that you have it doesn't mean automatically you have a stroke, but it increases your chances of getting a stroke. And in recent times it's becoming more alarming because it's not now, as people may have termed it, diseases for the elderly. And now you're getting younger and younger people coming into the hospital with symptoms of stroke. And when indeed we do the scan or imaging, CT scan of the head, we realize that there has been a cut-off in this blood supply to certain parts of the brain. And you know, when there's a cut-off of blood supply to the brain, it's not only oxygen that is depleted, but we have micronutrients and things that are supposed to give the brain energy, so to speak, it is deprived from the brain. So recently we've had as low as 11-year-olds coming in with stroke, 13, 14, 17. Recently had somebody who was 26. People need to look for their numbers, know what it is that can increase their chances of getting a stroke. Like the fact that you have it doesn't equal a stroke. But if you know or you're aware of it, then you can work towards it so that you reduce your chances of getting a stroke. For instance, we have what we call the modifiable risk factors. So they are modifiable, so you can do something about them. The non-modifiable, there's nothing you can do. If you're a black person, your gender, you can't change yourself from being male or female. But the modifiable risk factors, hypertension, and we are advocating that people should go to the hospital. You should have their blood pressures checked. Don't assume you do not have blood pressure. Blood pressure can be very silent. It's not always that you complain of a headache or you would have symptoms, but just have an idea every now and then. Just walk into a pharmacy, have your blood pressure checked. Your diabetes, eating late, eating sugary substances, especially when you know you have a history of diabetes in the family, you should know and be more concerned and always have your sugar levels checked. Another big one is cholesterol, alcohol, smoking. Whatever it is you're taking, the less the better for us. Everything in moderation is always best. So we should be made aware of whatever modifiable risk factors there are, and then always try and walk into the hospital. Don't wait to have symptoms before you go for a checkup. Even in our cars that we drive, realize that you tend to take your car for servicing, change of oil every now and then. So I think we need to sensitize ourselves as much as possible to always just walk into the hospital and say, I want to have a checkup done. With the children, it's a bit dicey. As much as 11 years old, there are other factors that could also increase your chances. If the person had an underlying sickle cell disease, that could be a reason for her chances of getting a stroke to be increased. Not necessarily just the hypertension, even though we are telling everybody to go out and have their blood pressures checked. So with the children, you'd want to screen them for genetic causes, other things, especially if there's a family history of something like that has happened before.